Yo.
To your door. There are or
Fuck this
to click the 50% sponsor, which really gives us the afterbox. Thank you.
Bro, dude, you know some weird shit goes on, and this is crazy. This dude is he's a millionaire, right? Jeffree Star, pretty famous, pretty popular. Why the fuck, dude? Like, I'll be on TikTok live, and it's not just my live, but just like, you know, lives of dudes my flavor, I guess. Why does he pop into TikTok lives all the time? That's so weird, bro.
So much to factor for being a regular deep dive sponsor, which really gives us the opportunity to continue making the content that we love. Now let's get back into the twisted world of Jessica Simpson.
Jessica Simpson didn't have the most typical childhood. See, Jessica
is just freaky. Bro, I don't understand what, like, bro, if I was a millionaire, bro, I would not spend any time on TikTok. I'd be traveling, spending time with my family, doing cool things, like learning new skills. Like, imagine what you could do with your life if you didn't have financial limitations, where you had to go to work, you had to do this. Wasn't he in your DMs? No, Lorray is always my bro. Bro was in my DMs like 3 weeks ago. That motherfucker's always trying to DM me.
Jessica, her younger sister Ashley.
You just enjoy life. Yeah, as I'm saying, you hang out with your friends, work on a business, you know, like make something. I would want to build something with my hands, but I don't know what I'd build, but I want to build something.
And her mom, Tina, had to regularly pack up their entire lives and move all around the large state of Texas due to Jessica's father, Joe Simpson.
Bro, Lorray, this is the same thing Lorray does every single time. He goes, yo, bro. Some question mark. He goes, having a party in LA. You in town? Motherfucker, who do you think I am? I'm not. Oh yeah, I'll be in LA this weekend, guys. No, I'm not gonna be in town. I'm never gonna be in town. I don't just pop by LA for funsies on the weekend. Lorray, I don't know, he's just a TikToker, I guess. Lorray, he's in a hype house or beast house. Or which house is he in? Sway Boys?
Simpson. See, Joe was a traveling minister who would do outreach at numerous churches through the year.
I'll show you his Twitter. This is him. It's either DM me on fucking I'm not Catholic, Joe. Motherfucker's horny. I felt bad too, because like he be posting his boyfriend and shit. Well, I don't know if he does anymore. I have a boyfriend. Like, bro, who the fuck? You gotta be a real freak to try to get freaky on Twitter, bro. Like, you can't even delete Twitter messages.
Letting his Christian influence run deep in the state of Texas. Jessica.
I love the right what? Dude, he a freaky. I think he used to snap. He sent me like a weird Snapchat one time.
Was obviously very involved in the church, being a minister's daughter. And as she belted out hymns of the.
Believe it or not, chat, your boy's kind of well connected. But like, bro, I just don't fuck with him. Like influencers and shit. I didn't save it. Or he unsaved it or just unsaved it out of our chat.
The church choir.
He sent me a weird ass picture one time, like a weird ass Snapchat, and I saved it in there and didn't say anything. And he was like, "Why'd you save that, lol?" And I just didn't say anything. Cause I just thought it was funny, and I wanted to have it in my back pocket someday in case like I could use it for something, or like, you know. He was like sitting like a pool chair, those pool chairs he's outside, and he was like this, and it was like up his stomach, but like he's not like muscular or anything crazy, so I was just like, oh.
She discovered her love of singing. By the time Jessica was 11 years
for the cult. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'll be there. I'm on my way. My Uber's gonna pull up. He goes out there in his Kato. And he's like, hey, I'm Sin. Bro, you gotta play me. I mean, we have the same complexion.
Old, she knew she was destined to be a star. Singing on the choir or at church retreats just wasn't enough anymore.
Bro, I don't think people realize that like what the fuck, bro? They're so like LA-ified. People don't realize like normal people don't just like show up in LA for the weekend and I'm gonna be back in New York City next weekend and down in Miami. They don't realize how expensive that shit is. You know, difference my iPad keeps falling up. You're such an iPad kid.
She was ready to start pursuing her.
How do you watch Lorray? I'll put you on, Ellie.
career as a professional singer. At this time,
We can
it
go
was
to
the
one of the parties
very early
together.
90s, and if a young talented child wanted to get their foot in the door into the entertainment industry, there was no better way than becoming a mouse.
Yes. Bro, should we do it for the plot? Like have like those Snapchat lenses on? I never used to. I got one for free. I mean, hell yeah. Free. What the fuck? Dude, that's so creepy. Dude, how is this a thing? Someone is calling me on my second Instagram, trying to FaceTime me. What the fuck? It rang on my actual phone. What the fuck? I don't even know who that is.
Mouseketeer on the legendary.
You get in the friend group type shit. I mean, I'll let you in. You gotta get in, bro. Listen, bro. If they ever met me, bro, you know they wouldn't fuck with me. I'm a little shit. I would make fun of them too much, bro, and bully them.
Mickey Mouse Club. It was the year 1992.
Or the downsides, I don't fucking like that kind of like atmosphere, scene, like vibe. I'm not gonna like swallow my like you fuck with that kind of thing, that's fine. But like, bro, like I listen. I built my career on despising it. Anyone who's been around here, I despise TikTokers. I despise influencers. You know, when people call me on this, I didn't know that was a thing. It's my second Instagram. Got to go later. She's going to Lorraine's. I feel like he has like Diddy parties, Allie. You know what I mean? What flavor popsicle? Pineapple. It's pineapple.
When a then 12-year-old Jessica Simpson would
But I feel like you would get along with Lorraine.
audition for the Mickey Mouse Club by singing Amazing Grace a cappella. Her incredible voice would land her a spot.
Bro, most people, like, I've had, like, over the course of my TikTok career, I don't know, probably 20 or 30 big creators hit me up. Yo, you want to hang out? You want this party, this. And most small influencers do that, and they meet them, and that's how they collaborate. Bro, I can't swallow my pride. I don't want those types of followers. I don't want to be friends with those people just for like a leg up. Like I would like look at myself in the mirror and I would become the very thing I hate. Like if I ever do that shit, chat. Like if I ever do that shit, like go collab with a fuckhead just for fucking clout or this. Please unsubscribe. Please just come to my house with a baseball bat and end me.
In the final rounds of auditions.
You know what I mean?
Now, as we know from previous deep dives, Disney is very serious about their child stars being a triple threat. So the final rounds of auditions take place at a Disney boot camp, if you will. All the kids are provided with vocal, acting, and dancing coaches where they prepare for the big day that would determine if they become a Mouseketeer or not. Now remember, this was 1992, so Jessica wasn't up against just anybody. 1992 was the biggest year for the Mickey Mouse Club in terms of talent. Jessica Simpson was competing against a then child Christina Aguilera, Justin Timberlake.
Wait, all these people. Bro, do they make celebrities and artists and singers like this anymore? I feel like I haven't heard like. So I don't really know who Christina Aguilera is, but I know she's got a beautiful voice and I know her name. I you don't hear those like names anymore that like stick out to you. Justin Timberlake, blah 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 blah. For a reason.
And Britney Spears. At the time, all these kids already had experience in the entertainment industry, whether it was being on Star Search or off-Broadway plays. Plus, they had been training for this very moment for years. This made a little Jessica incredibly nervous to perform her.
Our kids are gonna be the next big stars, like.
Final audition.
That year, the competition at the camp was extremely tough. It was the most talented group of kids that I'd found in the 5 years of going out and looking for Mouseketeers with Britney and Justin and Christina.
I do remember when Britney Spears came in because
Like I'm not heard of another Mariah Carey. I would say like the only ones maybe that are kind of newer, like maybe Ariana Grande, Katy Perry, Justin Bieber. But like, should like another Justin Bieber clone sprout up here soon? That's like the heartthrob of all everybody, takes the world by storm, or like another Ariana Grande. Little like I'm not saying like them, but like have careers similar to them. Because like I feel like there's always like a teenage heart like sensation at any given time, and I don't really see that shit anymore.
Because she looked a lot like.
Ooh. The new like it girl though, like sensation, I think it's Sabrina Carpenter, bro.
Jessica. I looked at her and I looked at my husband and I was like, whoa. I mean, like, Justin Timberlake had done Star Search. Christina Aguilera had been singing, like, incredibly for quite a while now. So it was pretty overwhelming to get down there and then see all these kids with this amazing talent. You know, they had resumes and they had portfolios with these, you know, great pictures and pictures of the events they had done.
Jessica had a Polaroid. That's all we had, and we didn't know we were supposed to have anything else. And we had no experience, so we had no resume either.
It was like, whoa, okay, we're maybe a little out of our league.
Billy. Billy's too hit or miss, and she's really like she's mainstream, but she's not. I don't know about that. It's incredible. Billy has a lot of like weird shit going on with her. I don't know. It's hard to explain. But like maybe like a punk version of that, you know what I mean? Like a.
We had this very intense 3-day sort of Mouse Club training
Avril Lavigne
camp where they had intense acting, singing, and dancing classes.
The last day, they have to do this full-on like performance, basically.
Right before Jessica was supposed to do her thing, she came in.
Like, you know how we watched all these like documentaries and stuff like this about stars. We're gonna watch the Sabrina Carpenter one day. She was a Disney kid, singing before that movie's acting. Now she's singing, and she's like, yeah, she's gonna be another one to watch.
To the green room.
And it was up on the TV, the little monitor was. And she starts watching, and the girl that went in front of her was Christina Aguilera. And so Jessica starts watching her, and she just sat there with her mouth open.
I gotta tell you, I wouldn't want to follow Christina Aguilera.
I've never looked at Melanie Martinez too much, but I like a couple of her songs. I have a couple of my playlists.
It intimidated the heck out of her because she was just like, oh, it hit her. She's like, oh my gosh, this is my competition. I've got to be as good as her.
She was next, so she went out to perform.
And it's all done in front of the camera, and Jessica had never done camera work before.
And she had 4 cameras and lights slamming her. And this is her first time.
Never done anything like this. Going against Christina Aguilera as a kid. Never been on camera, and boom.
Ever out
she was on The Voice.
In a situation like that.
It was just like a deer looking in headlights.
She forgot words to her song. She blew the acting audition. Tina and I were sitting there going, oh my God, what just happened to our baby?
I will never forget when she walked out the door that Justin Timberlake was standing right there, and he looked at her like, you know, with his mouth like wide open, like, oh, Jessica, you just messed it up bad.
We knew in our gut, we're done.
Now, Jessica was pretty devastated when she didn't become a Mouseketeer, but her family really encouraged her to keep pursuing
That's crazy, bro.
her dreams and to not just simply give up. So she started working with a vocal coach to help develop her voice and master her craft. Jessica said her father, Joe Simpson, was incredibly supportive of her efforts to become a star. Now, also around this time, when
how do you know you want to be a star, a little kid like that? That's my question. Like when you're that, from center court, literally, I'd have freaked out. Like, how do you know? God, I really want to be a big star when I get older.
When Jessica was still 12 years old, he held a, quote, purity ceremony for his then preteen daughter. Basically, Joe gave Jessica a purity ring and had her vow to stay a virgin until marriage. He also vowed to be the only man in her life until she married. Now, this will become important later on in the story. Anywho, Joe would use the church to help propel his daughter's career. Just 1 year later, when Jessica was 13, she was performing Amazing Grace a cappella again.
Yeah, but like, you don't know what you want to do to be a star. I guess you're like, Dad, I want to be a star. He's like, all right, acting lessons, voice lessons. Like, I was like, yeah, I want to be a YouTuber streamer, but I didn't know what the fuck I was gonna do. I didn't have a camera. Like back then, you had to have like an actual camera. And then some of it was like VH, like on tape still, and then you have to like an SD card, and then somehow plug the SD card into like my family's laptop. Then like editing software, it was crazy.
Again, this time at church camp. A man named Buster, who was a guest speaker of the camp,
This person's voice is so limp
just
wristed.
so happened to be
Bro, happy Pride Month, Bingo, what up?
launching a Christian gospel record label called Proclaim Records. After hearing Jessica perform, he knew he had to have her. Jessica was signed onto the label and immediately
What is edit effects? What are the edit effects for Ben Burtt? Who's
immediately
that?
began work on
I
her
feel like you told me
album
about him once.
self-titled Jessica. She worked on this album
It's me, Jessica.
for over 2 years. And when Jessica was only 16 years old, she was finally ready to release the album.
Chat, that's it. I'm
But
dropping
it was
a
at that
song. I'm dropping a
that
song.
moment when Proclaim Records went bankrupt and completely folded, thus letting Jessica Simpson's Christian pop career slip through the cracks once again.
Oh,
Yet
no.
again, Jessica was
No
so
Christian
close
pop
to her
album.
dreams becoming a reality, just for everything to come crashing down at the last possible moment. Well, this time it was Jessica's grandma who was not going to let her give up. Her grandma bankrolled the album to be pressed and mixed, and for
Oh,
Jessica
shit.
and her father
Wally
Joe
was
to start
beautiful.
making the rounds in the Christian music circuit.
Got the hot. Yes, you got it.
Basically, the duo would travel around from
glad you
church
did
to
it.
church. Joe would preach to young kids, then Jessica would be the featured musical performance. Afterwards, they would then try to sell Jessica's album to the churchgoers. Jessica and her father would travel all over Texas, sharing their gospel and music with the world. After a while, Jessica actually started to gain some notoriety in the spiritual music scene. She began touring and opening for various faith-based artists. This is when she would try to score a record deal with another Christian-based label, but they basically told her that she was way too pretty, and basically that her breasts were too large, and boys
That happened to me too, chat. Happens to the worst of us.
would lust over her. Jessica now realized that in order to make it in the industry, she needed to divert her energy to secular music. A young Jessica Simpson would drop out of high school in pursuit of a mainstream career,
Real.
and Joe Simpson would hire an entertainment attorney by the name of Tim Metalbaum. In 1997, Tim set up 9 showcases with various record label executives in hopes Jessica would get signed. Columbia record executives were very impressed, so they arranged for Jessica to sing for the CEO, Tommy Mottola, in his office. You know, Tommy Mottola, the old guy who discovered and met Mariah Carey when she was only 18 years old and then proceeded to marry her? Yeah, that
Wait, what? This is unknown lore.
guy.
Is it
Real
true
on this.
that you went into Tommy Mottola's office and sang for him live?
Yes, I sang live. No music, just a cappella.
And how did you get the meeting? Did you get a manager or something?
Yeah. Well, actually, my A&R at Columbia is the one who set it up. So
News
I
to
love her.
me.
Exactly.
Wild stuff. Jesus.
I sang live for 9 record labels in 2 days.
And then he's the one who picked you.
Yeah.
There you go. That must be exciting for you at just the tender age of high school, you know
Oh
what I
my
mean?
gosh.
Tommy Mottola signed Jessica Simpson on the spot for a 4-album contract. He allegedly even promised to release her debut album in 6 months. And while the ink was
Goddamn.
still drying on the contract, he turned to Jessica and told her to lose 15 pounds. This would mark the beginning of Jessica experiencing horrific body shaming
That's
for
awful.
decades. But more on that a little later. Now,
That was just a thing in the fucking, like, bro. They still do it now, but like it was just normalized in the late 90s to early 2000s, 2010s.
Jessica's debut album was not released within 6
Well
months
known.
as allegedly promised.
have
She
to check
wound
it
up
after
working
this.
on it for just over 2 years.
2 years in making my first record were the longest 2 years of my life because you have other artists coming out. And you were even signed before them, you know what I mean? You see all these people coming out and you're like, wait,
Think
that's
about it,
supposed to be
changes the
me.
person.
You know what I mean? So it was kind of frustrating to like sit back and watch everybody else do their thing. And I all of a sudden felt the pressure of having to be just as good, you know? And that's hard, especially at 17, 18 years old.
I've been in the studio for 1.5 years now working on this album, and we've tried our hardest to pick the best out of everything. I wouldn't take it back for anything, the length of how long it's taking and stuff, because I feel like I'm finding the best of the best, you know? When I first heard the
Legs.
song, my producer just sang it for me. And I was like, I have to have that because it was just so meant to be. It was so perfect. Every
me.
word that's in that I've experienced. So even though I didn't write it, it can still come out as
I was
if
actually the leg actor for that music video.
I did write it because I have experienced it. And somebody who's been through that doesn't want to sit and listen to a song and just be really sad and just be like, oh my gosh, I lost this person. They want to feel comforted. They want, you know, to feel embraced. And I think this song really embraces you. It really embraces all your emotions because it makes you sad, it makes you happy. I heard this song a year ago and I've dreamt about doing this as a duet, and it's all falling into place, and I'm so thankful for it.
And in 1999,
Let me be the first to say thank you. No, thank you. You're the leg actor. Yeah, I'm still a leg actor. If you guys need leg work done.
During the album's development, Jessica attended the Hollywood Holiday Parade. She didn't know it at the time, but her life was about to change. Lead singer of 98 Degrees, Nick Lachey, was also at the parade. The two would meet, and Jessica said she fell in love instantly.
My mom was with us, and I said, Mom, your mission for tonight is to get me in good with this girl.
I immediately was in love with him. Like, you can be in love at 18. I definitely was, hands down.
The romance developed quickly as Nick realized Jessica could be more than just a musical partner.
She has a real special spirit about her. I think that a couple weeks into talking to her, I just got a real strong vibe that this was not just, gonna go away, that I really did like this girl a lot.
Jessica and Nick would even
Young Love
record a duet and film a music video for the song Where You Are, which was slated to come out on Jessica's upcoming album. Everything in Jessica's life was seemingly perfect, but her album was taking too long to develop. So long, in fact, that Jessica's old competition from the Mickey Mouse Club came seemingly out of nowhere and started dropping some of the most iconic albums in pop history. In 1999, Britney Spears released her single Baby One More Time. By January 1999, her album Baby One More Time took the world by storm. Christina Aguilera's debut self-titled album released in August of 1999.
Where the stars dropping shit like this?
And now it was Jessica's turn. And yet again, just like when they were kids, she was coming out right after Christina. And it would prove to be an impossible act to follow. On November 23rd, 1999, Jessica released her debut studio album titled Sweet Kisses.
And the winner of the Big Stylin' in 05 is... Choice Breakout Artist. You guys want to know who won? Who do you think won?
89.
Jessica Simpson.
Jessica Simpson!
Wait, she beat Britney and Christina Aguilera? I didn't know Sis had it like that.
There were two pretty big hits off the album, I Wanna Love You Forever and I Think I'm in Love with You. Sweet Kisses even had a Destiny's Child feature, but unfortunately the album sales were much lower than the record label had expected. Columbia Records needed to market Jessica differently. They had to set her apart from Britney and Christina to help push the album. So they marketed her as the ballad-singing good Christian girl who doesn't show her belly or dance provocatively.
Britney's very successful and she's very good at what she does, so in some ways I take that as a compliment. My single, I Wanna Love You Forever, it gives me a chance to just sing,
That's awesome.
And I think when people listen to that song, they automatically respect me as a singer, and that's really what we want to establish. So I think that the comparisons, we both have long blonde hair and we're young, but I think that that's where it stops.
The record label took it a step further in their anti-sex appeal approach and started using Jessica's virginity as a marketing ploy. During the PR run for her album, Jessica would often be inappropriately asked about her virginity. In an interview for Teen People in early...
Who cares, bro, if the song is written by or sung by a virgin?
2000, she was quoted saying she promised God, her father, and her future husband that she would remain a virgin until marriage.
The greatest singers ever. Oh yeah.
This story generated a lot of attention, so much so that Teen People said they received more reader mail in regards to that story than any other story of the year.
Her second single off of that album, Where You Are, was a duet with Nick.
People wanted to know about them, and she told the magazine that she wanted to be a virgin.
everybody sort of freaked out about it.
It became like a big media bliss, and it was like everybody knew Jessica Simpson, the virgin, you know, and she was just kind of like known for that.
Now, if you grew up in the early 2000s, then you remember how absolutely obsessed the media became with Jessica's virginity. Jessica's purity ring,
Jesus, what a bunch of freakies,
falling off while she was opening for the Ricky Martin tour, actually made headlines. She even went on to appear in that 70s show where her character was a virgin.
Let's do it.
Michael, I don't do that.
It was a great week. I streamed all week.
I'm a virgin.
What? Coincidence. Me too. So let's do it, you first timers. Yeah.
Despite all of the media attention,
the news that needs to be tracked
surrounding Jessica's good girl image, it just wasn't translating into album sales. So executives at Columbia decided—
I don't get it, bro. People find the weirdest things to obsess over, and like sometimes you can tell what they are and you can go towards that, and sometimes
it was time to up the sex appeal and revamp Jessica's image to be more like Britney and Christina.
Goddamn.
I never really felt comfortable in the whole like young pop culture thing. Like I literally thought that I was signed for my voice. They were trying to make me
It says, who's gonna tell you?
different than Britney and Christina, and because they were doing the crop tops and the dancing and that whole thing, and because I was not comfortable with doing that, and I just wanted to sing, you know, and it was successful, but then they started pushing the crop tops and dancing on me because it's a record label and they wanted to sell albums, but there was no way I was going to be able to sell as many albums as Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera.
She was feeling a lot of pressure from a lot of different people.
I know Christina, like I said, I know she's an amazing singer, but I don't know a single Christina Aguilera song. If you guys probably told me one, I would know.
There are those people that believe sex sells and have made great careers off of it.
She really had to wear her pants lower and pull her shirts up higher and, you know, show more cleavage and more makeup and all these things that just weren't Jessica.
There were definitely people around her who felt that she should be thinner, that she should be more cut.
Damn.
You need to be smaller. You need to look like Britney or Christina.
They were wanting her to work out. So she got on the Atkins diet and she was getting ready to shoot her video, Irresistible, and she got down to 102 pounds. She was told, okay, you look great, but for the next video, think you could have a six-pack? You're not skinny enough.
Six-pack? What the fuck?
Like 102 pounds. What are you talking about? Are you crazy?
With the record label's new vision for Jessica in place, they got her in the studio to begin work on her next studio album titled Irresistible. This album would be a total 180 from her debut album. Tommy Mottola would take complete control of this project. Jessica,
bro, we watched, like I said, this morning, actually, we watched the whole, like, Britney Spears one. It was fucking nuts.
Had very little creative input and had no songwriting credits, unlike in her first album. Irresistible released in May of 2001. In terms of commercial success, the album did moderately well. However, the reviews for the album were pretty horrible. Jessica was called a Britney copycat, and that the album was just more redundant music to come out of the early 2000s pop machine. Jessica also faced a lot of criticism for her sexy new look and dance moves and how that conflicted with her image up to this point. Around this time, Jessica was also struggling in her personal life.
She would lay in bed and cry at night. She just always felt like she couldn't be good enough, like she could never quite achieve what everybody they wanted her to achieve.
She was just sort of like being pulled this way and then that way. In the midst of that,
what's her most popular song?
She was now 21 years old, but she had been dating Nick Lachey since she was 18 years old. Nick, being 7 years older, was in a place where—
Wait, what? She been dating since 6... What? 7 years older? Bro. They took that age just the number thing way too serious back then, bro. And they're like, oh my god.
Where he was ready to settle down. Jessica just felt like she hadn't experienced the world yet, so she broke up with Nick. Which of course made headlines since they had been such a public couple who often performed together.
Nick happened to be at Newark Airport on 9/11.
Through the windows of the terminal, we watched it all, happen. It was a scary, scary, scary time. And the first person I called was Jessica.
He's like, I'm in the airport. I don't know what to do. You've got to, talk to me. I'm scared.
That freaked her out, obviously. And out of that, she realized her love for him.
All I could hear her saying was, "Don't get off the phone. You can't get off
What happened in New Jersey?
the phone with me. I love you. Oh my gosh, I love you so much."
The fuck? Hey! Listen, dude, listen. We'll probably get that one out. I don't know what the date is on that one, but we normally plan on like a month out as far as like the stay and everything like that.
So much. You've got to come back to me.
She said, you know, come out here, come to me.
She hung up the phone and said, "I'm going to marry him. He's going to come back here and we're going to get married."
By February of 2002, Nick...
He was in Newark. I thought it was in Pennsylvania and New York. What was wrong with fucking New Jersey?
would propose to Jessica in Hawaii. Jessica was so happy and excited that she immediately ran to her website and announced her engagement. But there were quite a few people who were less than ecstatic about the engagement. Both Jessica and Nick's record labels thought it was a horrible idea that would severely impact album sales. They were both pop stars and sex symbols, so their record labels feared that marriage would take away that fantasy. But no one seemed to be more upset than Joe Simpson, Jessica's dad, who was also her manager. Joe said that Jessica was way too dependent on Nick, that Nick was not ready for commitment, and that Jessica was far too young to get married. In Jessica's book, she said that her dad had never...
So it's been nice to see you, dog. That's crazy.
...said no to the label, even when he was...
People are weird. They are weird, huh?
...constantly complaining about how the label marketed her. But he now had no problem...
Good luck on the subs. Sounds a little condescending. Thanks, bro. Try my best. I'm kidding. Have a good night, everyone. And sin. Look on the subs.
in berating her when it came to her engagement. Nick and Jessica were not going to let the opinions of others stop them. So they got started planning their
No, I'm joking. Obviously, he didn't mean it that way. I just read it in that tone in my head.
Giant Texas wedding. During the wedding planning, and mind you, at this time, Nick was making more money than Jessica. He had approached Jessica to sign a prenup, but at the time, Jessica refused. Jessica and Nick got married on October 26, 2002. And with that, the media started their new obsession over Jessica and Nick's wedding night. Now, if you thought the media's obsession over Jessica's virginity was bad, well, this seemed to be even worse. Pretty much every interviewer would ask the couple, let's just say, very intimate questions that they should not be asking.
What if the sex was bad? I mean, like literally, like you couldn't get it up. I mean, she doesn't know.
I think she knew I could get it up.
Yeah. Well, let's say you're a quick straw. The first time you banged her.
What? July wedding. I think you should be happy with any at this point. I'm playing. I'm kidding.
Does she walk out of the room in like a sexy outfit? Like, there's got to be a big build-up. You're like, oh my God, we're finally going to do this.
Yeah, you know, rose petals everywhere, and the candles, and you know, the champagne,
you did that?
And the strawberries. Yeah.
He says, look, I'm going to slip into an outfit. She goes in the bathroom. What? She prepares.
No.
This is awkward as fuck.
Oh, it was much more rip the wedding dress off
and go for. Was it very messy? This encounter?
Dude, Howard Stern is weird as fuck.
Not terribly.
With all the media attention that
listen, you give me a good joke, I'm gonna use it.
Nick and Jessica were getting right after the wedding, Joe, Jessica's dadager, well, he saw the dollar signs, and he had an idea that would wind up shooting the couple into superstardom. In 1994, after Michael Jackson and Lisa Marie Presley got married, they were going to participate in an unscripted reality TV show called Newlyweds. Now, sometime during pre-production of the show, Michael Jackson and Lisa Marie Presley opted out, and the show was ultimately shelved. Well, that was until Joe Simpson repitched the show, but this time with the newlyweds Nick and Jessica. MTV quickly picked up the show, and just a mere months into their marriage, Jessica and Nick were being followed around by cameras.
Newlyweds aired in August of 2003 and quickly became a cultural phenomenon. The show gave us a glimpse into
Never heard of it.
Nick and Jessica as they navigated not just being newly married.
Nick and Jessica, the most white names, newlyweds, the most white people. What culture are we impacting? Culture of mayonnaise. I watched it. God damn it.
But also living together for the first time ever. Jessica,
I guess I was literally like 3 when this was on, so what the fuck do I know?
Was portrayed as the ditzy dumb blonde, and Nick, the lovable clean freak husband. This formula would produce some
mayonnaise,
the most memorable and iconic moments in reality television history.
Is this chicken what I have, or is this fish? I know it's tuna, but it says chicken. By the sea.
Dumpty moments.
So stupid.
Picture is right.
What? Don't make fun of me right now. I'm not in the mood.
You act like you've never had tuna before.
I've had tuna fish like sandwiches and stuff like this.
Maybe you and I have eaten tuna like this before.
Why is it called chicken by the sea or in the sea?
Chicken of the Sea is the brand.
Oh.
You know, because
listen, you live a little blonde, you know what I mean? Like, come on now. A little ditzy girl. Like Katrina, me for literally LA, bro. Jesus Christ.
Tuna, it's like a lot of people eat chicken. So it's like the chicken of the sea.
Okay, I understand now. I read it wrong.
You try these?
I don't eat buffalo.
Buffalo idiot. Oh my god.
It's not?
No, it's chicken.
But it's why they call buffalo wings.
Baby, come on, you know it.
I don't know this.
Because barbecue wings started in Buffalo or something like that. You never find it weird that buffaloes don't have wings?
Bro, it's buffalo sauce. How dumb are these people?
I'm sorry about it.
Within a matter of months, Jessica and Nick became household names. The show landed them
well, yeah, because there's like 1,000,000,000 trillion Nicks and Jessicas in the world.
Brand deals, commercials, performances, Christmas specials, magazine covers, and y'all, the list just keeps going on and on. Newlyweds was
I'll never forget that kind of
also used as a launching pad to
smarter. They just need to stop thinking, bro. Just eat whatever you got.
Promote Jessica's third studio album titled In the Skin, where she had more creative control than ever before, even helping to write 10 out of the 14 songs on the album.
This really is a dream come true for both of us, right, Jess?
Totally. It's been such a crazy year for us. Wouldn't you agree, Nick? I certainly would, Jessica. To think that last year...
Whoa. Jess, I think you were reading my lines there.
No, I wasn't. I was reading those card thingies.
Well, yeah, but my lines are also on those card thingies. I'm in the blue and you're in the black, see?
Oh, gosh, this is too hard.
Now, the world...
Damn, bro. I know she was acting there, but like they just treat her like a ditz.
Also thought Jessica was a dumb blonde, so she leaned into it and was cashing in. By season 2 of Newlyweds, it was pretty clear Jessica had soared in popularity. Up to this point, Nick and Jessica were getting opportunities together. But in 2004, Jessica's career rocketed off to successes Nick Lachey could only dream of. She was out touring, getting her own brand deals, and was even offered a major acting role on the big screen. In September of 2004, it was announced that Jessica scored the Daisy Duke role alongside Johnny Knoxville and Willie Nelson in the cult classic movie Dukes of Hazzard. Now, Jessica's Daisy Duke body would become a hot topic in the media, and as Jessica said, would create a gold standard for her body that would be used for almost 2 decades as a before or comparison picture. Which, y'all, this is just beyond messed up. Like, the fact that she's being compared against this for all of time, like, that would just mess with a person. For the role, Jessica ended up doing the South Beach diet, and she hit the gym non-stop. She said she needed to impress her label, so she was hardly eating and also taking diet pills.
God damn.
I very specifically remember an episode of Newlyweds where she finally could eat some mac and cheese after filming for the movie, and it was like she hadn't eaten in years. Season 3 of Newlyweds began airing in January of 2005, and the cracks in Nick and Jessica's marriage became glaringly obvious. The first few years of marriage is tough for any normal couple, but the pressure of your marriage being televised and used to make millions adds a whole new element to the mix. Now, reality TV at this point hadn't really existed, and Nick and Jessica were embarking on a journey that hadn't ever really been done before. Nowadays, we have shows like 90 Day Fiancé and Love is Blind and MILF Manor that may be competition-style game shows, but they also end in relationships and crazy drama, it's nothing new now. But back in the early 2000s, this was revolutionary and paved the way for most of these shows to exist. And y'all, fans picked up that there was trouble in paradise right away. And unfortunately, so did the tabloids. There were tons of gossip magazine covers predicting that Jessica and Nick were headed for divorce. They tried their hardest to combat the swirling rumors by going on various talk shows and saying their marriage was better than ever.
Stories
Shout out Milton for real, bro.
There. I can't imagine being in the eye of this particular storm, but here they are. The questions every day. He's jealous of her success. She doesn't wear a wedding ring. He's partying, she's partying. She's got a crush. He's away. Endless questions every single day about your marriage.
Yes, there are.
Yes, there are. Isn't it fun? So let's just start. Let's go one by one.
They can't, bro.
Getting divorced?
Milk Manor's crept into every part of the internet.
Getting separated?
No.
Absolutely
It's
not.
everywhere.
Trouble
Can't
in the
stop the
marriage?
milfs.
No.
Nope. Can't stop the man.
Where does it get started? Because you didn't wear your wedding ring. Let me check.
I have it on today.
On the way out here, we both said we got to make sure that it's
we both had a check.
That's right. You're going to have it cemented to your haggard now. Because there was a time, the moment that you didn't.
I mean, tabloids are tabloids, and they think it's gonna sell, and they're trying to make some money. They want some money.
Why not?
Well, you know, I'm kind of finicky about gold jewelry and matching it with silver. So
it was a fashion decision?
It was a fashion decision. Yeah, I took this off and just
I gotta get you a gold wedding ring now too? Is that
No.
You never expected.
I don't look at it as that. It's just always gonna stay on my finger. It's never coming off.
But again, a lot of the people who've been writing this have been writing it based on all these separations. Jessica's doing the Dukes of Hazzard. You've had your own projects here. You can't be together. And that is a breeding ground for trouble in a lot of marriages, not just celebrity ones.
Well, the thing that, people have to remember about us is that we've been, our relationship has been that way from the beginning. When I was on tour with 98 Degrees and she was on tour on her own tour. We've
like that.
Always had a bit of distance in our relationship, and that's part of supporting each other and what we both love to do. And it's really, as long as we have these opportunities to do things that we've always dreamed of, it's important, I think, as a couple that we support each other. And no one's happier than I am that she's doing this movie and she's in Louisiana, and no one's happier than she is that I have these opportunities to do television and make another record. And you just have to support each other, and sometimes that means, there's a bit of distance and this long-distance type of relationship.
But the reality was that all of the rumors were true. Their marriage wasn't in a great place and hadn't been for a really long time.
I don't understand.
They did try to play happy married couple for a few months while finishing out their obligations. In August of 2005, The Dukes of Hazzard hit theaters, and Jessica did her PR tour. The third and final season of Newlyweds wrapped up around this time as well. Then, shortly after November, the Newlyweds that millions had watched on their TV screens and had fallen in love with announced they were ending it all and divorcing. A Newlyweds producer said that filming...
Yeah, they're both hot, rich, talented. What the fuck could be wrong?
Season 3 was really difficult. She said you could just feel the tension. The producer said Nick was frugal, blue collar, and Jessica had expensive taste and spent money. The Newlyweds producer said by the end of it all, they really only had music in common.
When last we left you guys, Jessica, you were having little problems with spending money. You had some lingerie.
I have some issues there.
Are they still issues?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know because we have a clip from the new season, and the saga continues, folks. Take a look.
Bro, fucking
These are
juice
amazing sheets.
What's amazing, Mom? How much were they?
Huh?
How much? How much?
$1,400.
Jessica Simpson.
What? Don't be mad.
Bro, she's making millions of dollars. Why is he pissed off?
Nick, that's all you can say is Jesse Simpson? That's it?
There's no word to even describe that situation. I
It
just
was
have to walk
Egyptian cotton.
Yeah.
It should have stayed in Egypt. $1,500 for a pair.
It was, yeah.
I slept fine on the whatever they were, cotton or polyester, whatever our sheets were.
I don't know, but our sheets were itching us really bad, so I had to get new ones.
That's great. Cheap whore. Yeah, like, bro, listen. Go to Pin Pin. Like if you don't have money to spend like that, and like $1,400, like how are we gonna pay rent now? Like I don't understand, but like bro, she's making millions and millions of dollars.
And I went to this real trendy store.
There is not just one reason for the marriage ending. There are, unfortunately, many. Jessica said she felt like when her career started taking off and she received more opportunities, that Nick held some resentment towards her. Her goal was never to outshine him, but she also wanted to move forward in her career. She wasn't gonna just stall for her husband. Jessica also said that they were young and their marriage played out on reality TV. They were great when the cameras were on, but when the cameras turned off, they hardly even spoke. She just didn't want to pretend anymore to her fans that they were this great couple. Nick said he didn't know as much about her as he thought prior to getting married, since they hadn't lived together before that. Nick has also since stated that Jessica's dad Joe was somewhat of a problem in their marriage. In Jessica's recent memoir, she did also admit to having an emotional affair with Jackass's Johnny Knoxville.
That motherfucker.
Her co-star
Funny guys always win, chat.
On Dukes of Hazzard. Johnny was also married at the time, so their affair never turned physical per Jessica. But she did say they wrote love letters back and forth, and when the filming ended, she missed being—
Bro, this person's calling me on Instagram live. Fuck out of here, bro. Not the phone. I don't know who they are, bro.
Her physical self would be lying next to Nick at night while he was sleeping, but her heart was with Johnny.
Dramatic ass, emotional affair.
Drafting endless love letters to him on her email. There were also rumors of Nick cheating, and in October of 2005, Nick was accused of kissing a 19-year-old college student named Danielle. Nick has fully denied this, saying the kiss never happened. Jessica said that since the start of the marriage, Nick kept putting himself in situations where he could so easily be accused of cheating. Jessica is the one who ultimately asked for the divorce. However, the media made it seem like Nick was completely blindsided and was fully on board to work on their marriage.
Just put MGK cover virus my free page and you don't know how to feel about it.
According to Jessica's memoir, one of the last straws was Nick not showing up to their couples therapy session. Nick, however, was—
Couples therapy is scary, bro. Like if you're to the point where you have like someone in the same room as you to like see who's tripping, to see who's gaslighting, to see who's manipulating. Like, that's when you know you're in a fucked spot, you know what I mean?
Truly heartbroken and tried to get Jessica back, but there was just too much damage. Now, remember how Jessica refused to sign a prenup? According to reports, her father Joe is the one who told her to refuse, as at the time, Nick made way more money, but that ultimately bit Jessica in the ear, because by the end of the marriage, she made way more money than Nick. Apparently, Jessica had to pay Nick $12 million in the divorce.
Hey, cha-ching!
The biggest money mistakes? I don't know. For some reason, I thought of my first marriage.
That's actually a common answer, believe it or not.
After the divorce was—
Hey, bro, I'd be happy to divorce. Like, you want to get divorced? Okay.
Finalized, both Nick and Jessica would release albums. Nick's album titled What's Left of Me released on May of 2006, and the song What's Left of Me is Nick's most successful single. While creating the music video to accompany his hit, Nick asked TRL VJ Vanessa Manillo to play the love interest as well, and their chemistry was undeniable. Shortly after the music video, they began dating, and according to Vanessa, by date 2 or 3, Nick Lachey confessed his love for her. Jessica—
Bro, there's a problem of like meeting a girl on a music set and then falling in love with them super quick.
Said when she found out Nick moved on so quickly, she was saddened beyond belief. But she focused on her career, starring in another movie alongside Dane Cook called Employee of the Month. And in August of 2006, Jessica released her album titled A Public Affair. At the time, the public seemingly took Nick's side in the divorce, and Jessica had a lot of
She's just gotta drop a banger.
Negative publicity surrounding her, and that appeared to impact the album as well, as the record just didn't sell well. Jessica decided to switch gears and work on a country album. She is from Texas after all.
Hey, big Texas chat.
And after covering These Boots Are Made for Walkin' for Dukes of Hazzard, she felt inspired. Unfortunately, the country crossover didn't work, as her album Do You Know became her worst performing album ever.
Picture that outfit,
This woman, Jessica Simpson, people can't stop talking about it, saying she looks fat.
It's horrific, you know, especially now. I think women put so much pressure on themselves and they attack someone who's A, nice, B, gorgeous just the way she is, and call her fat. It just makes me sick.
A whole bunch of other celebs were disgusted too, like Heidi Klum, Kim Kardashian. Even her ex-husband, Nick Lachey, defended Simpson, telling the entertainment show Extra, "I can't believe it's this big of a story and people are making such a huge deal about it." Jessica's brother-in-law, musician Pete Wentz.
What's up, Jelani? You been, dog?
I think it's crap the way girls are taking torn apart, and I think it's crap.
I think it's crap how they treat girls. You gotta treat girls better, dude.
Crap the way people feel like they have to look like the cover of a magazine.
Finally, Jessica has broken her silence. At a Virginia concert, the singer and actress thanked fans for their support, saying, "I feel like in our world today, we focus on so many things that are completely pointless. No matter what you go through in life, somebody else might have it harder. So just appreciate."
I want you to take a look at a bit of what Fox played during their NFL pregame show on Sunday, and frankly, I think they should be ashamed of themselves for this. Take a look.
Man, I still can't believe Tony dated Jessica Simpson, even after she blew up bigger than Flozell Adams.
Hey, Tony, is Jessica around? We could use a defensive tackle.
Yeah, very funny. Fox has now apologized for...
What the fuck was TV back then? What the fuck is that? I feel like if you laughed at that, you found that entertaining, you probably have like something wrong with your brain. Like the front part of your brain isn't scooped out with like an ice cream scooper.
For this, but Jessica is still ticked off. She fired back on Twitter. I thought it was great what she wrote. "I will never understand why people attack for a laugh. Own your beauty and don't listen to the judgment." You know, there's so many ways that Jessica could have responded to this. I think she handled it with great class and actually gave some good advice along the way. Kim, are you with me?
Oh, absolutely. This was in such poor taste, and it
Wild World,
wasn't
Wild
even
West.
funny. As another thing, it wasn't relevant. The last time people were even talking about Jessica Simpson's weight was when she wore those mom jeans. She wasn't fat then. She's not fat now. She's not even dating Tony Romo anymore. So this just didn't even make any sense. I mean, to compare her to a 350-pound lineman, it really didn't make sense. It wasn't funny, and I don't think a lot of people found it funny. And if anything, I think it will give her more sympathy. So I think she's doing exactly the right thing.
But here's the thing, and this is exactly what's been happening today. A lot of people out there are saying, you know what, she is a celebrity and she is fair game. Even jokes about her weight are fair game. Marvette, do you think Jessica has any right to be mad about this?
Certainly she has a right to be mad, but as a pioneer of a person who opened up her life to a reality television show.
Like the writers like writing it, and they're like, "Oh dude, remember Jessica Simpson?"
Her weight, sadly and unfortunately, is fair game. You know, for Fox and Burger King, two corporate giants, to drag themselves in the middle of something that really is insensitive to people who are their consumers. I think they're forgetting about their consumers and focusing on Jessica Simpson. The bigger issue is, yes, it is fair game, but it was out of line, and I think their consumers are going to speak loudly.
In January of 2009, Jessica Simpson would make national headlines after being photographed while performing at a concert in Florida. The major news story was that Jessica was wearing mom jeans was now, quote, fat. Yes, the world did call Jessica Simpson fat over these photos. It's no secret that the early 2000s body standards were absolutely atrocious and completely unrealistic.
Dude, I know, they're just sitting by their desk.
Many women fell victim to these standards, whether it was Misha Barton or Britney Spears in 2007. But worst of all,
in this video,
standards, whether it was Misha Barton or Britney Spears in
people gave Britney Spears death threats because they said she was so out of shape in this video. Isn't that crazy?
2007. But worst of all, were all the young, impressionable girls at the grocery store checkout line seeing magazine cover after magazine cover calling Jessica Simpson fat and ugly, while simultaneously using photos of Jessica from her time on Dukes of Hazzard, a period in which she was starving herself and taking diet pills. And they used these photos to imply that Jessica had, quote, let herself go.
Last year, I went through a lot with everybody saying that I gained all this weight. I did have nights where I wasn't comfortable sleeping and moments I didn't want to walk through the airport or have paparazzi yelling things at me. And
this is the photo that they, I think, started the whole thing, right? This photo right here.
Yes.
They decided, they just went crazy over that photo for some reason.
For some reason, yeah.
That's nuts.
Everybody was just harping on me gaining some extra pounds, and then I felt insecure because I felt like I was making other people, you know, if they weren't a size.
Bro, we watched the Britney Spears one, and it's even crazier in this one.
4 or size 6 feel big, you know. I didn't like where I was being put in the public, you know, in the public world.
Why do you think they're so hard on you? Why do you feel? I mean, because I feel like they're hard on you. Why?
They always are. I think because I think they always want to try and take me down, but I'm kind of invincible. I kind of just really just get back up and fight for myself and my place in this world.
After being terrorized by the media, Jessica would completely step away from music. Aside from her 2010 Christmas album, it has been over a decade since Jessica has released a studio album. Despite taking a break from the entertainment industry, in 2010, Jessica would be plastered all over the headlines once again. This time, it was due to John Mayer spilling the beans on their intimate relations. Jessica and John dated on and off after Jessica's divorce. It was never a very serious or public relationship. However, in an interview with Playboy, John said that Jessica is like a certain substance, basically saying that she is addicting, like napalm, sexual napalm. Obviously, Jessica was very hurt that John would violate her privacy in such a way.
In John's case, I think that he was trying to make a joke, but it wasn't a joke. I don't accept it. I really find it very disappointing. Those are intimate details that you don't want the world to know. He gave away my game. I'm like the good girl, and then the bad girl sometimes. I'm like, that's like my game. Maybe in his mind, he was thinking he was giving me a compliment, but he wasn't.
With Jessica leaving the music industry, she put all of her focus into her merchandising company that she had actually started back in 2005. The Jessica Simpson collection, a fashion line which also included shoes, fragrances, luggage, and so much more, was in 650 department stores. In 2010 alone, Jessica's line earned $750 million, which makes the Jessica Simpson collection the top-selling celebrity clothing empire ever. While Jessica was on the path to becoming a billion-dollar merchandising mogul, she would meet the love of her life, Eric Johnson, a former NFL player.
She married an old fugly.
Just 6 months after dating, Eric would propose to Jessica, but the wedding date would have to be pushed back as the couple announced that Jessica was pregnant on Halloween Day 2011. This was supposed to be one of the happiest moments in Jessica's life.
Yeah, bro. I remember, you know, when me and one of my exes broke up, she was like, yeah, and he's so insensitive, and that big ass dick he's got on him, like, fuck him. And I was like, guys, like, this is not right. I was like, you guys, she should not be, like, dude, this is crazy allegations, crazy media, and it was a lot. It was a lot to handle. I'm not gonna lie. I ain't been there, done that. Yeah.
But instead, Jessica's pregnant body would be relentlessly shamed again. Joy from The View just outright said that Jessica was fat. Jessica was also called an absolute porker, and her
Who the fuck said that?
Body would be plastered all over
bro, she's pregnant. What the fuck?
Magazines for the public to pick apart.
Was industry chicken and tuna. Those were that kind of thing is more fun to criticize than the fact that the girl's fat. Most women who are pregnant are not supposed to really gain more than 25 pounds. And she looks like she gained a lot more than that.
Ooh. What do you say?
She gained 40 pounds. All right?
Is that a lot?
That's just 5 pounds over the 25 to 35. But it's dumb. Not saying Miss Behar is dumb, but it is dumb to criticize any woman who is pregnant. Period.
But the media wasn't the only struggle during this time. In 2012, when Jessica was in the hospital giving birth to her daughter, she would find out that her family was falling apart. Joe Simpson, for whatever reason, thought Jessica laying in a hospital bed was the perfect time to tell her that he was divorcing her mother. According to Jessica's book, he also used that time to call Jessica a, quote, busted condom. Now, Joe has been heavily criticized in the past for clearly displaying a lack of boundaries when it comes to his daughters, like how in a 2004 interview with GQ, he made comments on Jessica's breasts. But what Joe pulled in the hospital that day was Jessica's final straw. She said that she harbored a lot of resentment towards Joe, and she was just finally fed up. At the time, Joe was still acting as Jessica's manager, and he had been since the start of her career. Jessica found out that her father had made some very bad business deals and burned bridges that she was just completely unaware of. She felt like Joe had really damaged her professional career. Jessica knew that she needed to fire her father as her manager, and it took her firing him a total of 5 times before he finally accepted it. Fast forward to 2014, Jessica and Eric finally got married after having their second baby. And everything seemed perfect in Jessica's life. She would even reconcile with her dad after finding out he had prostate cancer in 2016. In 2019, she had her 3rd baby and was unsurprisingly body shamed throughout that entire pregnancy as well. In 2020, Jessica released her memoir titled Open Book. It is an incredibly vulnerable autobiography. She opened up about her struggle with alcoholism and abuse that she experienced as a child.
In May of 2017, Jessica appeared on Ellen.
And have you written a song yet, or are you just starting?
I have about, I probably have about 38, so maybe 36 or 39.
Fans wondered if she'd been drinking. She had.
I can't even watch the interview. Like, it's not, I had started a spiral and I couldn't catch up with myself. And that was with the alcohol.
Jessica says she was drinking constantly. On Halloween of 2017, she started at 7 in the morning.
I was just dazed and confused, and I just wanted to go to sleep. I didn't take them trick-or-treating. I didn't show up for my family, I took the picture and I made the world think that I showed up.
It was the wake-up call Jessica says she needed. The next day, she quit drinking and started working with a therapist.
Jessica even briefly returned to music after over a decade, releasing 6 new songs alongside her book. The book did kick up a little bit of Nick Lachey drama along the way.
Did you ever wind up reading the Jessica Simpson book?
You'll be shocked to hear that I have not, nor will I ever.
I mean, makes sense. I was getting flamed. I mean, bro, he started dating her when she was 16. He's 7 years older than her, so he probably doesn't want to remember that part of his life, I assume.
I understand why people want to ask, but it's just it's so not a part of my life anymore that it's not even on my radar. She's doing her thing and I'm doing mine, and that's the way it should be.
Fast forward to present day, Jessica says she finally feels reconnected in her music and she knows exactly what she wants to do. So it looks like we are getting a full-on Jessica Simpson comeback. Plus, she even teased a possible 2024 tour.
Jessica Simpson's career was shockingly pretty.
She don't even look the same no more.
Traumatizing. From her early days, missing out on the biggest cultural boom of the 90s, to debuting far later than her peers.
She started taking creatine, chat.
Christina. After Jessica finally was able to carve a name out for herself, she faced a terrible and highly publicized divorce that cost her a fortune, only to be fat-shamed years later while she was pregnant. Jessica Simpson truly made lemonade out of lemons and built the largest celebrity clothing brand of all time. And she was able to stick it to her father and fire him. So, moral of the story, even if something seems monumental and like everything is doomed, it isn't. Jessica Simpson went through one of the most highly publicized relationships of all time and had her innermost secrets exposed in the most popular magazines in the entire world.
Oh, there's
and
the
she
Kesha
still
one.
went on to
That's
be a bigger success, completely eclipsing her past. Here's hoping that single is a #1.
This one? Or this, I guess. I literally just, this morning at 9 a.m., I just got off a 7-day stream. I streamed 168 hours straight. So, I'm actually feeling pretty fucking tired finally. So, I'm up off here. Go work out. Yeah, this is Turk's type. This is definitely Turk's type. But he's a millennial, bro. So, like, this is what was blasted into his brain. He was brainwashed with this body type. Like, I like some fake me. For realsies. For realsies.